Good have Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Vayetze, Shabbos, Tes Kislev, the birthday and the yahrzeit of the Mitteler Rebbe, and Erev Yud Kislev, the Chag Geula, as the Rebbe pointed out many times when Tes Kislev falls out on Shabbos, that it's the same setting as it was the year that the Mitteler Rebbe was released from imprisonment. That while the Mitteler Rebbe was saying Chassidus Shabbos afternoon Mincha on the Maimer of Ata Echad V'Shimcha Echad, he was notified that he was going to be released, and he was released finally on Sunday, while he was saying the Pada B'Shalom Nafshi. So with this Shabbos Ramamash, we're living the way it was in the actual date, which is Tes and Yud Kislev, and actually the date of the week as well, Shabbos Sunday. And the Rebbe used to speak very lofty about the Mitteler Rebbe. We find expressions that the Rebbe describes about the greatness of the Mitteler Rebbe. The Rebbe would say, Mi hu zev ezehu, who's he or she that could try to compare, to try to think to understand the greatness of how great the Mitteler Rebbe was. Mamish, great of great. And like we spoke last week in the Sikha, that when it says Eila told us Avram hoiled this, Eila told us Yitzchak ben Avram hoiled this Yitzchak. These are the children of Yitzchak, the son of Avram. Avram gave birth to Yitzchak. That's not natural. It's not natural, and it happens a few times where literally a father takes genuine, honest pride in the greatness of his child, and we find that with Yitzchak and Avram, and we find that with Yaakov and Yosef. The Eil told us Yaakov Yosef also, that the greatness of Yosef compared to Yaakov. But we also find that by the Alter Rebbe and the Mitteler Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe literally said, you would call him, he's my Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe would say that there's certain things that the Mitteler Rebbe is even greater than he. So we're talking about a giant of a person that tonight's his yahrzeit and his birthday, and like the Rebbe says, to learn the Chassidus of the Mitteler Rebbe alone brings tremendous blessings on a person, and to sing a nigun of the Mitteler Rebbe, it's like writing a pan. Like the Rebbe says, if someone was able to write a pan, a pidyon nefesh, a note to the Mitteler Rebbe, would you not jump to do it? So an idea that the Mitteler Rebbe teaches on this week's parsha. We have the amazing Maimorim from Taras Chaim of the Mitteler Rebbe, starting on expanding of his father's teaching on the beginning, on the vow that Yaakov makes. And we find two things about Yaakov in this week's parsha. We have the mission statement of Yaakov, which is the mission statement of every Jew, where after he has the dream, he wakes up and he takes the stones and he anoints the stones, and he says, if God's going to be with me, this stone will be a house of God, and if I return complete to my home, God will be, Elokim would be, Havai is going to be like Elokim, that I'm going to be able to elevate to such levels of elevation where today what's abstract, the Yud Vavke, the Creator, is going to be my reality. And that's the mission statement of what a Jew goes out to do. And then the rest of the parsha is Yaakov doing it, going down to Lavan, going to Haran, marrying his 4 wives, Leah and Rachel and Bill and Zilpah, setting up the 11 of his 12 sons, 12 children. He has Dinah as well, and he has 11. He has Dinah and Yosef as well. Binyamin is born next week's parsha. He deals with the tzoin, and we know he deals with the sheep of Lavan. And the Mitteler Rebbe expands on an idea. And he asked the questions, why did Yaakov, it's a klotz kasha really, it's like a simple question, why would Yaakov in negotiating offer such a high price of his service for his 2 daughters, or for starting off for what he thought was Rachel? I mean, 7 years, he said he's ready to work 7 years for Rachel. 7 years is a long time. I mean, why not negotiate? Why not start with 1 year, 3 years? I mean, why start with 7 years? And that's a big number to put out. We find it so big, how do we know that Lavan doesn't negotiate back? He doesn't say 10 years. So he says 7 years, of course. He'll give 7 years free. He's not going to get paid. He's just going to have food to eat. I mean, 7 years. If a person's earning money, that's a lot to pay. So the Mitteler Rebbe explains an amazing thing. And so we should have a teaching in the Mitteler Rebbe to go into Shabbos, that Lavan is loivin elyon, like we've learned many times in our talks before around this week's parsha, is the simplicity of white. In the high level, Lavan is a great madrega. It's a tremendous level. Like the Mitteler Rebbe talks about, that when Lavan at the end of the parsha kisses his sons and his daughters, meaning his grandchildren, he empowers them with the loivin elyon, with the simplicity of the white. Yaakov and Chassidus Chabad, we know that we put emphasis on the intellect, on the moach, on the brain, on the chokhmah bina das, which makes up Chabad, our wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And through that guides us of how to serve Hashem. And it in some ways guides how we feel. That after we say Shema Yisrael, we understand. Then we say V'hafta, we love. But nevertheless, although the importance of the tool of the brain, of the mind, to use that as a guide and a way to control the emotions and to elevate the emotions, to feel the full level of God's greatness. But there's something even greater than the mind. That's the Loivin Elyon, the simplicity of the white. Yaakov wanted to be in touch. We know that Rachel and Leah represent the Midos. Leah is the power of thought, and Rachel is the power of speech. And Yaakov says, I'm ready to work 7 years for the 7 Midos, the 7 attributes, the way they are beyond the intellect. Yes, we're going to bring them through our mind. Yes, through the mind, we're going to actually internalize them, bring them into action, use them to change the world, to do the avodah of Yaakov. Yaakov is to change the world. But he wants to not just have the emotions the way they are only created by the mind. He needs to get in touch with them the way the emotions are beyond the mind. So he says, I'm ready to work 7 years corresponding to the 7 emotions the way they are the daughters of Lavan. And he wants them both in Rachel and Leah. That Leah wasn't enough because Leah is just the thought, but it has to come down to the speech because Yaakov is about communication. Yaakov's Mavriach HaTichon. He's not scared to go as high as he can go, but he takes it for the purposes to bring it as low down into this world, into the world of speech, the world of action. I want to bless everyone on this auspicious day. We should have all the blessings from the Mitteler Rebbe, the way it comes down in speech and action and materialize into make a change in our life, in the brachas that we have at Gashmis and the brachas that we have at Ruchnias, and to the ultimate change with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. We made a mamash good Shabbos and good Yom Tov.